Hey there, this is Jennifer Simonetti-Bryan, Master of Wine here at the Weekly Tasting, and this week we're going through two beautifully gorgeous rosés. I love rosé. Actually, I wrote a book on rosé. I love it that much. Well, with this pack, we have two rosés that are made in very, very different ways. Two very different grape varieties, and we have different methods of making rosé. When you're only using red grapes, which these two are made from, they're made with only red grapes, there are really three methods that you can use to make rosé. First, there is what we call direct press. So think of people who are picking the grapes out in the vineyards, they throw them in a bin and immediately throw them in the press and press them out, right? So those are red grapes that are getting immediately pressed. Not that much color in there because if you've ever squeezed a red grape, you're gonna just get white juice. Try it. And so it may have a little hint of color, but you're not gonna see that much color, which is what we have in the first wine, direct press. The second wine is the second method that we see when using red grapes only for making rosé. It's maceration. So what does maceration mean? It means you're picking the grapes, you're bringing them to get pressed, but it sits with the juice. So the grapes and the juice and the skins sit together for a few hours. And in this case, about 8 to 12 hours. And the grape varieties that are used, particularly for this wine, you have a more rich, dense color. So the more you leave the skins in juice or wine, it's going to add more and more color. Now, the last method, which we don't see here, is for saignée. What does saignée mean? Saignée is the method that, it means bled in French, and really, a lot of people of Provence say it's cheating. It's cheating for making rosé, because basically what the people of Provence would say is that saignée is taking wine that's intended for red wine, grapes that are intended for red wine, and they siphon off, they draw off a portion of it in the early stages of fermentation where there's not that much red color added. So you bleed that off the fermenting wine and you have rosé. So that's the bleeding method or saignée method. And that's usually the deepest and most richest color that you see. But people of Provence, they say that it's cheating. Anyway, so here we have two wines, and I will take you through both of these individually. The first wine is indicated of a region of Méditerranée. It used to be called Vin de Pays, but now they call it now I can't even say it, Méditerranée. And so it's Mediterranean, I guess is what you would say. And it includes the region of Provence and southern Rhone and some other regions as well, but also like Corsica as well. So it's like Mediterranean in terms of its geographic indication. And I don't know if you've noticed, but the prices of some Provence rosés are going quite high. And this one is beautiful, like Provence rosés, but it's not that high in price, which makes it a gem in my book. You have a very delicate color, remember, from direct press, so those grapes are pressed immediately. And this is made with Grenache Rouge, so red Grenache, and Caladoc. And you might not have heard of Caladoc. Caladoc, it's made 20% Caladoc, and it's a crossing between Grenache and Malbec, which they call Cotte. So it's Caladoc, 20% Caladoc, but even though it's a rich red color of a grape, in this, because it's direct press, you're not getting that much color, so it's pale, and on the nose and on the palate, you're gonna get a salinity. I don't know how else to describe it. It's almost like salty sea air. And I love that about this wine. And those that are made with direct press, like this in Provence and with this wine, it's the most delicate. So they're very light. You're not gonna get too intense of flavor here. So that also makes it very much a crowd pleaser. And Grenache on its own is fairly low acid, but I think the Caladoc raises it up a little bit, so it's very, very refreshing. And in terms of food and wine pairing, this goes on the lighter end of the spectrum. So grilled shrimp, if you're gonna go outside, so salads and grilled chicken in salads and things of that sort. That's what I would put with this. But you're gonna have the protein of the shrimp or the grilled chicken that will bring out some of the more berry aromas in this wine. And it's delicate and it's fresh and it's beautiful, and you are gonna love this wine. The second wine of this pack is from Portugal. And you might not have had a Portuguese rosé except for, I don't know, some Vinho Verde rosé. And that's usually sweet, but this is bone dry and it's beautiful. And you can tell it's a deeper color than the wine before, and that's because it's macerated. So you've got the red grapes. In this case, we have Touriga Nacional, which is what you see made in Port or in the Douro Valley. But this wine is from further south. It's in the Alentejo region in Portugal. So you've got Touriga Nacional, you've got Aragonés, which is also Tempranillo, another name for it, Tempranillo, and Syrah. So you got really three deeply colored red grapes here that they blend together and they macerate for about 8 to 12 hours. 8 to 12 hours, so it's just enough in there. And what it does too is it's a little bit more weighty. It's weightier than the first wine, or a Provence style. It's a bit richer, not as rich as a Saignée, but it's somewhere in the middle, which again makes it a crowd pleaser, and it also makes it much better with food versatility. You could put this with shrimp, you could put this with fish, but you can also put this with lamb, or you could probably put this with a burger. So I think this is an incredible wine for outdoor dining, and that's what these southern regions are known for. So that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did, and until next time, cheers.